Taking the back side of the area. How y'all doing today? I'm doing good. Whew, I tell ya, this is heavy. Heavy. Look at this. I live by fruit warehouses. I remember when I was a kid, I used to look at those things, the top there, and I'd be like, I wonder what's up there. I seen little ladders, so I'm like, I want to climb up there. One day I did. There's nothing up there. But that's kids, right? Kids want to investigate and explore and figure things out. Well, I'll leave you. Anyway, how's all my subscribers doing today? Hope you're doing good. Me, I'm kind of in a little turmoil. A little bit of turmoil. You know? Just a little bit. Well, actually, a lot of bit. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Like today, they're putting a dinner on for employees. They're putting a dinner on, like a Christmas thing. And I'll say it straight up. The people on the promise team, they really don't give a damn. And it's kind of hard. When you got people that give a damn and people that don't give a damn, it's like a tug of war. You know what I mean? And it's sad. Because they make things jump off, and then they expect everybody to join in, and then the people don't join in because they know how the people are from the gate. Anyway, so they're throwing this dinner together, and here I'm supposed to make a gluten-free peach cobbler. The only thing is that I couldn't find no gluten-free flour for the recipe. So now I'm just gonna buy some treats at the store and put those out there. Here comes this guy with his Jeep. But anyway, so I'm on my way out, off to work. And I'm gonna be catching the bus here. And that's homeless people. And look, they're there too. Look at that. Wow. Anyway. But yeah, that's what's up. That's what's going on today for me. I gotta I'm just gonna buy treats that are probably gluten-free. I don't know. And just lay them out there. And if more needed, I'll buy more, I guess. But that's what today is. I'm doing. And then what else do I got? I got a lot to do. Anyway, I know this ain't my thing. I know that for a fact. Beyond anything, I know that. But my thing ain't to punch a clock, period. You know what I mean? And every chance we get, every shot we take. Wait a minute, let me see what time it is. 59. I wonder if this is 12:01 or so. It might be 12:10. So, yeah, it might be good. See that poor guy talking to himself? That's Yakima. Well, anyway, that's a lot of cities. Sleeping on the ground, man. I do feel bad for people like that, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm trying to sit there and look down on them or whatever. But I do feel bad for people like that. And it's not like there are people like that. Because really, it's not a separation. I found today in today's society, everybody's one payment away from that. Everybody's one payment away from not having a car. One payment away from not having a house. One payment away from not having electricity. And that's sad. You know, when you got a dude who is making so much money that he spent $50 million on a wedding, and you got another dude who basically makes coffee, and he's got millions, and he don't want to share that wealth with his workers who actually continue that wealth, you know. Anyway, I don't get too much into those things because the world is mean. Well, people, I'll say it like that. People are just brutal. And I think that too, you know, like the poor people on the road, you know. But that, I'll tell you this right now, that's who God came for. I mean, I always think of the lepers, to live the life of a leper, somebody with leprosy. They had to put certain clothes on and yell, unclean. And they were banished from society. They actually had their own societies, you know, living in, not with society, not in the city, but they actually lived on the outskirts of the cities. And they couldn't work, and they couldn't own anything because they were cursed. And they were ousted. And they were looked down upon. If you were a leper, you were nothing. I mean nothing. And it was a disease, you know, where their body parts were falling off of them. From what I gather, it's where your nerve endings, you don't feel anything. So like if you cut yourself, you don't know it. And if you don't take care of it, it rots. And their bodies would just fall off. And they had to wear a certain type of clothing and say unclean so people wouldn't get around them. And I always trip when I read the stories about some of them that would bust through the crowd and make it to Jesus, you know? And they would say, you know, make me clean. And they would be risking everything because, again, you know, being outcast, being nobody, and they'd make it. And he'd make them clean. I will be thou clean. And they'd be clean. You know, it takes you back to the story of Moses when God told Moses, because Moses was tripping, being called, and he didn't know if in other words, he couldn't see himself being called. So God tells him, stick your hand in your chest or your breast pocket, or, you know. And he did, and he pulled it out, and it was leprosy, it was leprous. And then he said, stick it in again. He stuck it in, he pulled it out, and it was the same as the rest. And God said it, I make this and I make that, you know. Anyway, it's crazy because when I look at these guys, don't get me wrong, because one side of me thinks, well, why don't you get a job? Why don't you do something for yourself? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you the obstacles I faced, because I actually was on the street. I was actually living in a tent by the side of the highway. I was actually living like that for a couple of weeks. And I didn't mind it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sleeping on the ground, if you ain't slept on the ground, your body kind of has to adjust to it. So I was sore. But I had blankets, and I had to kind of sneak down there so that, you know, nobody called the cops and said, oh, there's a homeless person sleeping here, blah, blah, blah. And so I set up my little one-man tent, and then I would use my blankets for it. And I had two Pendleton blankets that I would cover up with, lay on one and cover up with the other one. They were warm. And I did that for 2 weeks when I got back to Yakima. And then one time, I was trying to sneak down there because I had to go to sleep early so I could get up early and get out of there before the sun came up, so nobody knew where I was. And I would bury my tent and hide it so nobody would steal it. And somebody ended up digging it up and stealing it. Kind of felt bad. I was like, man, here I am, broke, you know, poor, you know, on the streets. Somebody stealing from a poor person. That's crazy. Then I ended up going to the mission, and that was the worst place to stay. It was terrible. I mean, really, it was terrible. It was the worst of the worst. Anyway, people say, well, you should feel, nah. If they got a setup where they're getting paid to, put people somewhere where they can't go, they should be a little more, anyway, blah, blah, blah. That's a big argument in itself. Anyway, I ended up staying in another place, and I finally gotten a job. And I'll say it like this. Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm pulling up on the guy pulling up. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, all my wonderful subscribers. How you doing today? Anyway, I'm coming over here to my favorite bus stop because there's a place to sit down and wait for the bus. Then you got what's happening in the Yakima situation. Anyway, so I want to say that I am grateful, that I am truly grateful for, oh wow, a purse, look at that. In any other setting, that would be weird, a purse laying on the garbage can. That would be really weird. In any other setting, but it's Yakima. And you dang well there's nothing in that purse. If anybody that was homeless came by and checked it. Not that, Anyway. But yeah, so here I be. I'm on my way to work. I don't go to work till 2:45. I don't like going this early. I'm not a big fan of my work. I'm really not. But I know I'm not cut out for that, so I'm gonna see what I can do this coming year. Well, I'm gonna make something happen for myself. That's just the way it is. I'm gonna do that. Look at this poor girl. This girl walks around everywhere. I don't know if you can see her. She over there. Let me see if I can get a close-up of her. This poor girl, man. That girl right there. She walks around this whole town. Every time I see her, she's talking to herself. Being used and abused by who or whoever. And it saddens me. But there's nothing I can do. I mean, there's not a damn thing I can do. I know that. But anyway, I'm on my way to work. I gotta provide some dessert. Like I said, I was gonna make gluten-free peach cobbler, but I couldn't find no gluten-free flour, so there you go. And so today they're having that meal, so I'm just gonna buy gluten-free desserts of some sort and provide it. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, so here I am, sitting on the corner of I Street and First Street. First Street, that's what it's called, First Street, North First Street. I'm here doing that. Waiting to get on the bus. It's going to be a minute because I think the bus is, it's coming in about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. But I just thought I'd give you guys all a shout out. It's not too cold today. That's crazy because here it is December. And I think it's like 56 degrees or something like that, which ain't too bad for December, But anyway, Jack in the Box behind me. Anyway, how you all doing today? Hello to all my subscribers. I'll say hi to you because you're here. I'm pulling up, bro. All right, thank you. Where you at? Where am I at? I'm on the corner of First and whatever. Anyway, I don't even know who that is saying where you at and all that. Anyway, how y'all doing today? It's funny because there's scriptures that help folks through stuff. And most people would see this as a gloomy day. I really don't see it that way. The clouds basically give us if you're in the middle of a heat wave and the cloud passes by, you appreciate the shade. That's what I'll say. You appreciate the shade. you know. But anyway, I'm on my way to work. I uh, I got to provide some desserts for the dinner, which I'm going to do, gluten free, of course. I guess gluten is that stuff that gets in your belly and makes it gassy or something. I know I get, whenever I eat bread, I get that little, whatever that is. And it's the chemicals they use to keep the flour preserved, you know. But it's bad for humans. Your body's trying to reject it. So now I'm going to start eating gluten stuff, free stuff. You know what I mean? Something like that. Anyway, that's what I gather about it, and I feel it. So, and I used to always wonder. I know I just pushed through it. Now I'm thinking, hey, that can't be good for you if your body's reacting that way. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I get a kind of humorous, not really humorous, because it's dangerous. When pharmaceutical commercials, you know, drug commercials, I'll call them. When they try to give you sell you on the idea of taking a prescription, and then they say, here's the side effects. Now this really made me laugh. I think I shared this before, and if I repeat myself, I apologize, but I got to share this. Where they said the side effects are vomiting, diarrhea, and nausea. That's what they said. Mild side effects are diarrhea, vomiting, and nausea. Well, I'll tell you something. In a natural state, your body diarrheaing, vomiting, or nausea means your body's rejecting whatever it is that you put into it, which ain't a side effect. It's a reaction of escape to get rid of whatever it is you put in yourself. And they're trying to tell you that. You know what I mean? That blows my mind. You know? Anyway, so I myself am going to see if I can find some gluten-free desserts for the dinner. I'm a little hungry, so I might go eat the dinner. I don't know yet. It's supposed to be a big thing. It's an employee dinner. The Promise team's putting it on. They asked me to join the Promise team. So I'm in fact on the Promise team. I'm making a chimney or a fireplace for the kids' shop with a cop for their stockings. So I'm doing that. It's only going to be displayed for one day, but I figured we could use it every year. I made it pretty stable and durable. I got to put hooks on it somehow, which I will. I'll probably use paper clips, colorful ones, and not tape them on, but get them in somehow. I'll figure it out. I know how to do stuff like that. I'm weird that way. But anyway, I'll probably just use white Gorilla Tape, put it around, hook it in, and then put a Gorilla Tape over it so that you can't see where it gets stabilized. Anyway. So that's what I'm doing because anything for the kids. I mean, yeah, anything for the kids. Poor kids. They didn't ask to be here on the earth. And here we are. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's one bus over there coming, but that's a different bus. But I'm catching this one to go to work. Did I put my wallet? I got it. Anyway, so just sharing with you, a little hope. Oh, just to give you this idea. It's in Peter. It's pretty cool. Here's what it says. It says something about, I think it's 4:12, 1 Peter 4:12. It says, concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened unto you. And I'll tell you, for the last few days, I've been feeling kind of messed up a little bit, really, inside, feeling kind of broken, if you will, kind of really beat up, I'll see it like this. It's like someone took my insides and put them in a meat grinder and then try to put them back together inside of me. That's how it feels. You know what I'm saying? I remember my kids' mom would say, I just don't, hear what she say. She would say this: I just don't feel like a Christian. And I tell her, I say, well, good. And she looked at me like I was nuts. Or other times she would say, it's like he's not with me. I'd say, good. or another time she would say, there would be other people that say this too, don't get me wrong. I've said it myself, but, you know, I just don't want to, I don't want to do anything anymore. I want to give up. And I'd say, good. And she would get mad at me. You know, because anybody that's going through something, you'd expect them to say, oh, it'll be all right, or you'll get through. I remember there's one dude that comes to work. I haven't seen him in a while. His name's, well, I won't say his name because you probably wouldn't want me to. But this guy has just a whole hum, like Eeyore. He's like Eeyore's brother, you know, just whole hum. Oh boy, everything's broken, everything's no, you know. And one day he told me, he said, you know, I just feel like dying. And I said, oh, good. Right on, dude. Good for you. And he tripped on me. He smiled. He actually smiled. He said, thank you. I said, for what? He said, well, because you didn't do what everybody else does, which is, oh, you'll be all right. Everything will be fine. All that junk. He just said, you know, what you said. And I said, yeah. You know, I mean, if you want to die, hey, at least you know what you want to do. Reminds me of that Patton movie. And Patton walks into the I guess office or headquarters or whatever, and there's a dude sleeping on the ground, and Patton kicks him, and the dude gets up. Who the hell's kicking me? Well, Patton's a general, so he stands up. Oh, sorry, sir. He said, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to get some sleep. He said, well, get back down there. You seem the only you seem to be the only SOB that knows what he's doing. Anyway, but yeah, and so she would tell me that, you know, oh, I feel like giving up. I want to quit. And I would tell her, good. I said, now you can get out of his way and let him do what he's gonna do. So that's what I say. You know, I say, you know, and anyway. In Peter, I believe it's 4:12, he says, concerning the fiery, or is it 2:12? It's one of those. It's in 1 Peter, or 2nd, one of the two. And it talks about concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange thing has happened unto you. But rejoice inasmuch as you are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be rejoicing with exceeding great joy. You know what I'm saying? Because I think about it. You know, God coming to this earth in the form of man. You know, because you know, everybody I meet. I mean, it's so crazy because a lot of folks that I meet, you know, they tell me, oh, I just don't feel good. I just, you know, everything's beat up, everything's shot, everything's terrible, blah blah blah, right? You know. And I couldn't imagine God himself, how uncomfortable it must have been for him to become man, you know, because most people don't even want to be in their own skin. Most people, whatever situation, whatever circumstance. And here comes God and decides to become man. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, there's a reason for it. There's a reason man was allowed to fall. You know, nobody would see what the reason is, because again, you know, oh, here we go. We're catching number 7 now. It's a coming. Anyway, so this is my routine. I get on a bus, I go to work, I do my hours, I get off work, I go home. Except my days off.